Good afternoon, board members. You've had opportunity to look at the packet to determine that there's a quorum. I need to do a roll call. Ms. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Cordero?
Here.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
And Mr. Springer?
Brent, sir.
And this is Ken Smith, and I'm also present. At this time, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion for Mr. Cordero.
We have a motion for Mr. Cordero. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Springer. We'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Springer?
Brent, sir.
Motion carries then. At this time, I believe on our agenda is Dr. Sawyer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And just to kind of introduce things, one of the requirements, by the way, thank you board members for meeting us today, 1 o'clock on a Monday. I know you have a lot going on, but we wanted to give special attention to this particular session, which if you remember from our accountability presentation, the 2 board meetings ago, we talked about moving from 8 state-designated low-performing schools down to 7 state-designated low-performing schools. And one of the requirements of the law is for a school that is determined to be low-performing is for that school to develop a plan, a low-performing school plan that addresses specific strategies that school will use to improve the performance grade and the school growth designation. These final plans are then shared with the public, which we are doing and have done up to this point. And we want to go over this with the board and get board approval for moving forward. So once again, thank you all so much for agreeing to meet with us today. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Brandy Sawyer.
Okay, and before you do that, anyone that is making presentations, please, the one who just spoke is Dr. Brad Breedlove, our superintendent. And so thank you, Dr. Breedlove. So anyone, since this is a remote call-in for members, make sure to please identify yourself. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, board. This is Dr. Brandy Sawyer, Chief Academic Officer. And the only thing I would add to Dr. Breedlove's comments is this year we have 7 schools identified: Burgall Middle School, Pender Lee, Pender High, Malpas Corner Elementary, Cape Fear Middle School, CF Pope, and West Pender Middle School. All of the schools have school improvement teams that are comprised of teachers, administrators, staff, and parents to gather data and input as they're identifying their needs and their goals. And this year, as a district, we were really concentrating on 3 main areas: academics, culture and climate, and health and safety. According to the statute, the Board of Education is required to approve all of their plans. The only thing I have before I turn it over, we're going to start and just go down in order, in alphabetical order, and start with Burgall Middle, is would the board prefer to ask questions at the end of each school, or would you prefer to ask questions at the end of all the presentations?
Let's wait to the end of each individual school, since each individual school has their own unique plan of action, and that way we can take a vote on approving that if that is okay with each board member.
This is
there any objection to that?
This is Beth Burns. I totally agree with that. I think since it is an individual presentation, we should, any comments should be directed towards the school at that point.
Okay, is everyone else in agreement? Okay, not hearing any objection, then we'll proceed then with the meeting.
All right, so I'm going to turn the meeting over to Brian Allen from Burgall Middle School.
Good afternoon, board members. Good afternoon. All right, so Burgall Middle School 2022-2024. We do have our district mission and district vision. The mission to establish with students and stakeholders meaningful pathways from classrooms to careers. Our vision that PCS students are prepared to have choices in the world that awaits them. All right, so as far as our school vision, the Burgall Middle School community strives to provide a safe, nurturing environment where all students are supported and challenged in academics, behavior, and social development. Our school mission, to cultivate individual student needs, interests, and future goals through the implementation of diverse educational curricula and enrichment opportunities. All right, you can see here our school demographics. We have 225 students as of today. Our demographics are broken down 2 or more races at 4.4%, Hispanic 24%, white is 36.2%, other is 0.44%, and black or African American is 34.9%. All right, this is our data snapshot for ELA Math and Science. As you can see for EOG Mathematics for 6th grade, we did not meet expected growth. We were in the red. 7th grade, we met expected growth in the green. EOG Mathematics for 8th grade, again, does not meet expected growth. We were in the red. Moving towards EOG Reading for 6th grade, meets expected growth. We were in the green. 7th grade, meets expected growth in the green. EOG Science for 8th grade, does not meet expected growth in the red. And EOG Science meets expected growth in the green. All right, breaking down our subgroups for growth comparison. You can see the breakdown between 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023. You'll see most of those categories are not met for both consecutive years. We did make some improvements the 2022-2023 school year, but we do feel we can do much better. We did meet in our English language learners and our students with disabilities, so kudos to those teachers and those students. All right, for the Burgall Middle School academic goal, Burgall Middle School will see a 5% increase in growth and proficiency percentages in English language arts, mathematics, and 8th grade science EOG scores during the 2023-2024 school year. BMS will see another 5% increase in the 2024-2025 school year that will result in a 10% gain over 2 years. The end goal is 2025. And our indicator pulled from NC STAR is A 1.07. All teachers employ effective classroom management and reinforce classroom rules and procedures by positively teaching them. The culture and climate goal. By May of 2024, Burgall Middle School will offer all staff and student diverse opportunities to participate in collective and real-world experiences as demonstrated through participation, quality of work created, and behavior measured by surveys provided to faculty, staff, and parent guardians. The NC STAR indicator E2.02. The school provides a broad spectrum of communication to the community through meetings, announcements, newsletters, and consistently updated website. Our health and safety goal, faculty and staff and students will be knowledgeable and understand how to utilize the Burgall Middle School Safety Plan in times of crisis and will practice routinely throughout the 2023-2024 school year, measured by surveys provided to faculty, staff, and parent guardians. The NC STAR indicator A 4.06, all teachers are attentive to students' emotional states, guide students in managing their emotions, and arrange for supports and interventions when necessary. All right, so we have a table to break this down for you. Again, the goals are listed, the academic, the safety, and the culture climate goal. The metric for the academic goal will be our EOG data. The metric for the culture climate was a survey that we provided at the beginning of the year, and we will also send that same survey at the end of the year. And the same goes for our safety beginning of the year survey, and there will be an end of the year survey. So the current status for baseline for academic goals, ELA is 35.4%, math is 24%, and science is 46.2%. Currently, as far as the culture climate, 57.1% of parents, family, and staff feel well informed. 42.9% feel that their child is very safe at school. And just some highlights, wrap up, and next steps. One of the quotes that has been leading us this school year is a quote that I brought to our opening meeting. Instructional leadership is not about improving teachers. It's about creating the conditions where teachers can improve themselves. And that's something that we have been pushing since the start of the school year. We are creating conditions to where our teachers can be successful teaching. One of the main things we've been doing with that is helping them with their classroom supports. So if there are disruptions in the classroom, we are being very proactive to eliminate those interruptions so teachers can teach and students can learn. We have biweekly math, ELA, PLC meetings facilitated by the math and reading coach to ensure standards-based, rigorous, differentiated instruction, data analysis, and reflection. And then on the opposite weeks, it is myself, the admin team, sliding into grade level team meetings. We will utilize data and support staff, interventionists. We have a math and reading interventionist this school year. MLEC, instructional coaches, tutors, MTSS, to facilitate targeted small group instruction. We have intervention and enrichment blocks built into our schedule to provide focused support, which also allows time for the iReady pathways. Working with interventionists, MLEC, instructional coaches, tutors, and teachers to strengthen our core of instruction. Strengthening the core is something we identified through data digs. And if we can improve our core instruction, that will make the jobs of all of the support staff much easier moving forward. Rising Red Devils team, that is a newly created team of support adults and those supports for students that fail a course each quarter. We'll be monitoring quarter one, quarter two, and so on to assess those results to determine if we are improving our failure rate. And then we just recently started a student tutoring partnership with Pender Early College High School, where those students are coming to the Burgall Middle School campus and they are tutoring our students in the classroom under the direct supervision of a licensed teacher. Any questions?
Aren't we going to wait till the end, Mr. Allen?
Thank you.
Board members, is there any individual questions, comments, or concerns about the plan presentation that was just given?
Yeah, I have a few, Mr. Chair, but are we not waiting till the end, or are we going to?
No, we agreed that we wanted to do it at the end of each individual school. So that way, since each one has their own unique plan of action, that way, and if you want to wait till the end, you can, but I'm giving everyone an opportunity while this is fresh before you.
Okay, I misunderstood. Mr. Allen, I apologize. Yeah, I do have a few questions.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Allen, what strategy did the reading teachers in your school use that the math teachers can implement?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
Yeah, so your math teachers seem, according to the graph, that they met or exceeded levels. Is that what I read?
The math teachers? So seventh grade, yes. So seventh grade, and this data goes back to last school year. What I can speak to for this school year is that they are utilizing iReady. That seventh grade teacher is now teaching sixth grade, so we do hope to see some improvements for our sixth grade. We have a new seventh grade math teacher and a new eighth grade math teacher.
So it looks like 6th, 7th, and 8th meets or exceeds expected growth in the EOG reading. Is that what I'm reading?
Yes, sir. That's correct. Well, 6th, 7th for reading, but not 8th.
Okay. So what strategy can the other teachers use that are, for lack of better words, maybe what strategies can the teachers use to help the other ones pick up the slack where the students are struggling?
Sure. One of the things we've been doing from our beginning teachers is either having them observe students in our building or observe students in other buildings. So we have been working on that. I've been working with our instructional coaches to ensure that they are spending time in the classrooms to help us identify areas of need, and then also the evaluations that we are conducting on our own allow us to provide strategies for those teachers. And then we also have an additional beginning teacher coach this year, which has been helpful, sort of another set of eyes watching and seeing observations. But a lot of the strategies, I believe, for me, it all goes back to building relationships with students. If we can build those relationships, continue to hone in on our craft. We do have new curriculum programs this school year, so part of that was learning the programs, but just continuing to provide rigorous work for our students and ensure that we are communicating to families.
Okay. My next question is, for the surveys, what alternate plans for the ones that opt out are we going to put in place?
As far as opting out, are you referring to the surveys for the safety, culture, climate? So that's...
Yes, sir. Any survey that you would send home that doesn't get returned, what is our alternate plan to get parents on board?
We will need to print out paper copies and see if we can't get them to complete that at athletic events, after-school events, any type of events that we have them come to the building. We could even have a stack in the front office to see if we can't increase those rates.
Okay, thanks, sir. And one more question, Mr. Allen, how many parents are you proposing to be on this Red Devil team for support?
So currently it is 10 faculty staff members, and the idea is that those faculty staff members check in with the students weekly. And a lot of that is they're going to be pulling up their Power School, checking their grades, checking their assignments. A lot of our students just have missing assignments. So we think that by having that consistent adult checking in, building relationships, that is one thing that we're going to be looking at to try to improve those failure rates.
Missing assignments, what does this result from other than kids not bringing their assignments home? Was the grades uploaded in Power School to let the parents know that the assignments were missing?
Yes, sir. So a lot of it is just, whether they just aren't submitting the assignments. They may have a few, pieces left of the assignment before submitting. But that's definitely something that we have identified, and we are trying to clean that up as we continue through Q2. A lot of it was, once students were in the building, was a lot of our team identifying areas for growth and then creating an action plan to improve that growth.
Okay, last question, Mr. Allen. The 5% growth, do you expect it to be higher than that, or is that a low number? I feel like it's low, and that's why I'm asking you. Somebody does it every day.
Yes, sir. We wanted to make an achievable, reasonable goal, but I do believe in our people, and I believe we will definitely beat that goal.
Thank you, sir. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Are there any other board members that have any questions, comments, concerns at this time for the presentation? Okay, if not, then Dr. Breedlove, Dr. Sawyer, do you prefer us to vote on each individual plan, or do you want this done as a group vote?
If you would like to go plan by plan, that would be fine. And that way we can, at that point, once the principal presents If there are no more questions for that school and the plan is voted, that principal, in my recommendation, can go on back to their school, because some of them have other people out, and it may help their
Yes,
help their day.
If there's no objection, board members, for the consideration of our principal's time and so they can get back to their school, let's do that. You've heard the presentation from Burgon Middle School, and there's no other questions or comments. Is there a motion then to accept this plan?
I make a motion to approve the Burgall Middle School Improvement Plan.
That was Ms. Burns with that motion. Is there a second to the motion?
Mr. Chair, if I could. I'll second.
Okay, John has seconded. Mr. Springer, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if that could be implemented as far as the surveys and putting that in there for ball games or whatever, make sure that will be accurate and completed, I'll vote a yes on it.
Okay. We have a motion and second. Mr. Allen, you've heard the recommendation also from Mr. Springer. Is there any concern with that recommendation?
No, sir.
Okay, if we can do that, then to add that. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Springer?
Yes, sir.
Motion carries. And thank you for your presentation. Safe travels back to your school.
Thank you. Thank you, board members.
Dr. Sawyer, if you will introduce our next school.
Yes, sir. Next, we have Bobby Simmons from Cape Fear Middle School.
Good afternoon, board members, Dr. Breedlove. Bobby Simmons here, principal at Cape Fear Middle. As I start through this presentation, I'm going to start off with our school vision and mission. With our school vision, Cape Fear Middle School will be a collaborative community that promotes safety, provides rigorous expectations, supports innovative thinkers, and prepares our students holistically. And with our mission, we will be a safe, inclusive, and supportive to all students, teachers, and families. Each stakeholder will be treated as both an individual and a member of a community of learners. Here's our demographics. Currently, we're at 449 students. We're 46% white, 6% two or more races, 4% you can see American Indian or Alaskan Native, 38% Hispanic, and 9.4% Black or African American, and then with 0.2% Asian. Here's our data snapshot from last year. As you can go through this, 6 math met growth on the verge of exceeding. We had a 6th grade math teacher that exceeded growth. 7th grade math exceeded growth. Our 8th grade math met growth. Continuing with our reading. 6th grade reading met growth. 7th was on the verge of exceeding. And then our 8th reading did not meet growth, and our 8th science did not meet growth. This is a slide we like to look at and share, as you can compare to 2 years from the last year's comparison from 21-22, where we only had one subgroup meet growth, and that was students with disabilities, to every one of our subgroups meeting growth, with math exceeding. If you look at that from 21 to 22, math, we were -10 2 years ago. This past year, we just exceeded growth. AIG 2 years ago, we were -2. We're on the verge of exceeding growth with our AIG students. Reading improved 4 points. You can see a really big improvement in each one of our subgroups. Economically disadvantaged improving almost 7. Our white students 7. Multiracial students improved 3. Hispanic students improved 6 points, and our black students improving 4. So this is a great slide that we like showing. And overall, we went from -10.74 to -0.97. So basically right down the middle, meeting growth. That's a big gain in 1 year worth of work. Academic goal, Cape Fear Middle School teachers will deliver standards-based, rigorous, differentiated instruction as measured by students meeting or exceeding growth. from a growth score of 75 that we got this year to 85 this coming year, and a 6% increase overall proficiency. We want to move from roughly 44% proficient to 50 on the 23-24 school performance data in both math and ELA. Our indicators we're looking at, the principal models and communicates the expectation of improved student learning through commitment, discipline, and careful implementation of effective practices. And then also A3.10, all teachers use assessment data and match instruction as supports to individual student needs. And I think we're doing an excellent job with this one with our teachers using data in all the PLC meetings and everything that we're looking at. Culture and climate, our staff will partner with students, families, and the community to cultivate a safe, supportive, inclusive, and responsive environment as measured by past student surveys, increasing from moderate to a high satisfaction rating and a 95% attendance rate during the 23-24 school year. With the attendance rate, we're roughly at 94 right now, so we have already improved roughly 2 or 3%. School indicators for this, all teachers teach and reinforce positive social skills, self-respect, relationships, and responsibility for the consequences of decisions and actions. And then E1.05, the ongoing conversation between school personnel and parents, guardians is candid, supportive, and flows in both directions, and that's very important to us with that indicator. Health and safety, K-3 Middle School will provide a student-centered, nurturing environment with a focus on learning readiness, resulting in a decrease in threat assessments and discipline referrals for the 23-24 school year. I've got some more data I'll share with you on the next slide about these two. School indicators we're looking at, all teachers teach and reinforce positive social skills, self-respect, relationships, and responsibility for the consequences of decisions and actions. And then our next indicator is the ongoing conversation between school personnel, again, and parents, guardians is candid, supportive, and flows in both directions. Here's some metrics that we looked at. With our first one, when we were talking decrease in our threat assessments and discipline referrals, last year we had roughly 57 threat assessments and 612 discipline referrals. What we're looking at is both of those, and currently when we created this, we had 6 threat assessments and 47, but right now we're at roughly 80. Last year at this time we had 240 office referrals at this time, and we're sitting at about 80. Last year we had 16 threat assessments and 122 office referrals at this time. And that was previously, but I gave you up-to-date numbers for today. With the next goal, we're looking at our attendance rate in our the district pass survey. Currently at 94.5% attendance rate, and our pass survey will be, which was administered in October of last year, indicated moderate satisfaction across multiple indicators. What that's looking at is the culture and climate of our school, and do our students have someone they feel that they can go to, a safe staff member, and do they feel safe and comfortable in our school? So we will be re-administering the past survey. And then our last goal about increasing our growth in our overall proficiency, looking at EOG data, iReady assessments, and Common Lit. Last year we're at 44.5% overall, 46 overall in math, 43 in reading, 57 in science, and 75 overall growth score. Looking at our Common Lit pre-assessment, at the current time, if we were to continue at the current trends, we would be at 54% proficient in 6th grade, 63 in 7th, and 59 in 8th. And that's well ahead of where we were last year at this time. Math iReady with projected proficiency, if we just achieve typical growth, with 6 would be 56%, 7th would be 60, and then 8th right now at 32. But we have, with our check-in data that we currently have that came in, are showing that we are well ahead in almost every area with comparison to the last year at this time. So that number for 8th grade math, which does not count our Math 1 students, but 8th grade math, I will say is going to be a lot higher than 32%. Highlights and wrap up here. We came up with this motto of in school, on time, and engaged. That's our big push with attendance being in school. We had an issue with tardies, having our students come to school on time, and then also engaged in the class. All grade level ELGs increased to proficiency last year, except for 8th grade math and science. This year we have weekly math ELA PLC meetings facilitated by our math reading coach to ensure standards-based, rigorous, differentiated instruction. That's what, we wanted to really increase the rigor in our classes, and that's naturally happened through our Common Lit curriculum and our iReady curriculum, but also looking at data analysis and reflection. Teachers meet weekly with support staff. This has been a work in progress, but going very well with our ML students and our EC students. We've had monthly meetings with Ms. Bloch and the EL staff, looking at our progress, utilizing data and support staff, ML, EC, instructional coaches, tutors, and MTSS to facilitate targeted small group instruction. We're using our community and schools folks to help support us with attendance, making phone calls when we're having attendance issues, our social worker, making home visits, but to identify those that are having attendance issues, but also we have taken on rewarding responsible attendance, and I think that's what we're seeing, the increase that we're seeing so far. We have a daily learning readiness check-ins during homeroom, small group counseling targeted to address needs as determined by the past survey results, and then we have our teachers send at least 4 positive referrals home per month. Looking at students that don't always get noticed, and we want to make sure that every one of our students has an opportunity, or our teacher have an opportunity to reward as many students as we can with a referral home to their parent. And I think that's it. Yes.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Board members, is there any questions, comments, concerns before we do a vote?
I just wanted to say one thing. This is Beth Burns. It looks like you've made some very significant improvements this past year. Congratulations
Thank you.
on that.
Thank you. And we're looking for bigger things this coming year.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other comments, board members?
Mr. Simmons, you had a 94.5% attendance rate from last year, and you're only expecting to go up 0.1%. Is there a reason behind that?
No, 94.5 is what our current attendance rate is. We were under 93% last year attendance rate. 2 years ago, we were under 91. And so we're currently sitting at about 94.5% attendance rate. So we were below 93 last year, roughly 92.5. Did I answer your question, Mr. Hall?
I believe that was Mr. Springer.
Mr. Springer, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but, so is there a reason why we can't have the other, I'm not asking for 100%, but I think 95 is a little low. That's just my opinion for whatever it's worth to the rest of the board members.
I mean, that's a goal we set. We were 96, 97 until about a month ago, and we had some major sickness going through the community, and our attendance rate dropped pretty significantly, both in students and staff, but it's on the way back up. And that, at about a 95% clip, we're roughly 20 or 30 students out a day. Yes, we would like to shoot higher, and we planned, we wanted kids into school as much as we can, but that was the goal that we set as a school, is 95% for this coming year. Because we know school attendance rate directly correlates with proficiency in the building.
As part of the district plan, we based where we should be on pre-COVID numbers, and before 2020, Pender County Schools was sitting right at about a 95% as a district, and so getting back to that number is important to us. And so the principals came together and agreed that a 95% attendance rate would be a great goal for the district to have. That was the goal that we set. If we go above that, that's great. We have put measures in place at each school. We are promoting it. If you look inside of our schools and outside of our schools, many of our schools are posting their attendance rate for not only students but teachers as well, and what that is, because attendance is important. If we are going to improve as a district, students need to be in school, and so do our teachers and staff. And so we've just made that a goal for the district.
Thank you, Dr. Breedlove. Is there any other comments?
Mr. Simmons, what kind of activities do you have in place to allow parents to come and be involved in the school?
We have plenty of activities, our Title I nights, our athletic events. We have open house that we had at the beginning of the year. We got our parent advisory committee. We have our school improvement team meetings. So we're looking for as many ways as we can to get our parents involved and to open up that door. And that's some conversations that we've had since since first quarter grades came up, is improving that parent communication and making sure that we have, open lines of communication with our community. So those are the opportunities that we have for our parents to come in. Plus what we have coming up in December is a holiday meal coming up, so another opportunity for parents to come into the building.
Okay, I won't ask any further questions.
Is there any other further questions, comments, board members, before we take a vote on Cape Fear Middle School's improvement plan? Is there a motion to approve the presentation of their improvement plan for Cape Fear Middle School?
This is Don. I will make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hall. Is there a second?
Mrs. Burns will second.
Ms. Burns, a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Springer?
Yes, sir.
And it carries. Thank you very much for the presentation, and we look forward for great things from Cape Fear Middle School.
Thank you, Board.
Dr. Collier, if you'll introduce our next presenter.
Absolutely. So our next school, we have Miss Brittany Moore from CF Pope Elementary.
Good afternoon, board members, Dr. Breelove and cabinet and district leaders. I am Brittany Moore, principal at CF Pope Elementary School. Our mission at CF Pope Elementary is to provide all students with a rigorous and rich educational experience in a safe and respectful environment that fosters lifelong learning. Our vision at CF Pope is that the staff, families, and community are dedicated to the intellectual, social, and physical development of students. Through positive relationships, professionalism, and collaboration, we will build and sustain a community that focuses on growth and proficiency of all students through diversified experiences. We also have core values that are a reflection of our school's mascot, because we are Panthers, which is an acronym using PAWS. The P is for professionalism, the A is for achievement in all areas, the W is for work ethic, and the S is for safe and supportive environment. Just a snapshot of the demographics at CF Pope as of the day of this presentation. We had 555 students. Today we have about 558, so our population is continuing to increase. Our student population, 37.3 is white, 18.4 Hispanic and Latino, 7% is at least two or more races, Black or African American, 36.6%, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 0.2%. Just a snapshot of our academic data in ELA, math, and science. Our fourth and fifth grade from 2023 for reading. Third grade is not included in this because of the revised standards for math. So fourth grade met expected growth. We definitely want to work this year on getting on the other side of that index, but we did meet growth last year. Fifth grade met expected growth as well. So across fourth and fifth grade for math, we did meet expected growth. EOG reading for 2023, third grade met expected growth, fourth grade exceeded expected growth, and our fifth graders meet expected growth. So overall for reading across all grades, we met expected growth, and our fifth grade met science last year exceeded growth. And just a snapshot of between 2021 and 2023, of our subgroups. Last year we met, in 21-22 we exceeded growth overall. So of course our goal this year is to exceed. For our academic goals, CF Pope Elementary students will reflect an overall proficiency of at least 50% on state assessments at the end of the 2023-24 school year, including in-class reading, math, and science integral tests. So our academic goal does include our K-2 students as well. Although they don't take EOG at the end of the year, we still look at in-class as a state assessment. So that 50% does include our K-2 students in their proficiency. We have a few indicators tied to the instructional piece of our academic goal. The first one is that our instructional team use student learning data to identify students in need of instructional support or enhancement. Yearly learning goals are set for the school by the leadership team utilizing student learning data. And the last indicator for this standard or for this goal is the principal monitors curriculum and classroom instruction regularly and provides timely, clear, constructive feedback to teachers. Our culture and climate goal is that 80% of our school's students will consistently demonstrate positive behaviors that reflect the school's PBIS matrix expectations, reflecting a safe, orderly, inviting learning environment as measured by discipline reports, behavior interventions, and extracurricular participation by June 2024. The indicator that we are looking at to measure is that all teachers are attentive to students' emotional states, guide students in managing their emotions, and arrange for supports and interventions. Our health and safety goal is that CF Pope Elementary staff will collaborate with students, families, and the community to create and sustain a safe, healthy, and supportive environment as measured by an increase from staff, parent, and community survey responses of moderate to satisfactory. Using the indicator E106, the school regularly communicates with parents and guardians about its expectations of them and the importance of the curriculum at home. Looking at metrics for our academic goal, we are looking at previous and current EOG data, M-class, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of year check-in data. Currently, our current status is 41.4% of students were proficient on state assessments last year for grades 3-5. On grades K2, we had 64% of our students were proficient. Overall math last year was 45.5%. Overall for reading was 32.5%, and overall for science was 58.2%, and we had a growth score of 81.2%. For our health and safety goal, our metrics are student participation rate, our educators' handbook data, and supplemental and intensive behavior plans. Currently, 91% of our students were eligible to attend the first quarterly celebration, and we currently have 5 students who are receiving supplemental behavior intervention plans that were identified through the MTSS process. For our climate and culture goal, we are measuring that using a number of surveys. We have a quarterly teacher temperature check survey that was given at the end of each quarter. We have a semester parent and community survey and a semester student input and feedback survey. The current status of those, our first quarter teacher temperature check, 85% of the staff was satisfactory or above. The CF Pope Parent and Community Survey will be available November 21st through December the 15th, as well as the Student Input and Feedback Survey, which is also opens November 21st through December the 15th. And just some highlights that I would like to highlight for our school as well as next steps. The motto at CF Pope Elementary School is this year is that excellence is the standard. Instructional rounds for our core curriculum has taken place, and they were very successful for our instructional team and teachers. We also had the opportunity to have Eureka Math Observation with a Great Minds coach, which is people from the company who have a great deal of impact on the curriculum. So we were able to have them in our schools to help coach our teachers as well as our instructional team. We have math and reading intervention and enrichment blocks daily. We have weekly PLCs with administration and the instructional coach. For K2, those happen on Tuesdays, and for 3-5, they happen on Wednesdays. We have monthly and quarterly PBIS celebrations to celebrate positive behaviors in our school. We have monthly success team meetings, which is our PBIS team. We have a vitality/sunshine committee, and we also have a beginning and new teacher sessions that take place on the 4th Wednesday of each month. We have a very active PTO. Our most recent event was Friday, and we had over 250 community members on campus. Right now, we're evaluating our recent NC check-in data by student grade levels and standards. And we also have a math and reading interventionist in our school that support our students daily during our math and enrichment blocks. All right, any questions?
Board members, at this time, if you have any questions, comments about the presentation from C.F. Pope Elementary.
Mr. Chair, I got some questions for Ms. Moore, please.
Okay, please proceed.
Ms. Moore, you stated in the vision that we're going to the families and community are dedicated to the intellectual, social, and development of students. How are we incorporating the parents in this vision?
I have a open door policy as a principal that I communicate on a weekly basis to parents in our weekly messages as well. And parents also know that if they call me, I will return their calls by the end of the school day. So I have an open door policy as a principal, and we make sure that we communicate our expectations and things that are going on in our school on a weekly basis.
Okay, so from some of the community members, I'm understanding that there's still a disconnect with some of the parents. Out in the community. So I'm trying to help everybody else in improving that disconnect with parents within the school since their child goes there.
I would be more than happy to speak with those parents. Like I said, I do have an open door policy, and when I left the school, I didn't have any voice messages, and like I said, I do return calls by the end of each day. So I'd be more than happy to speak with any parents to come to a solution to strengthen those relationships.
So also with the discipline policy. Your discipline expectations, at least 80% of CFO will consistently demonstrate. What kind of measure do you have, or what kind of measures are you going to take to ensure that discipline is not going to be an ongoing issue going forward?
So we do have positive behavior reinforcement. So we also have a school-wide behavior matrix. So the first 10 days of school, we really focus on those lesson plans and created lesson plans for our teachers to teach those kids, and those are reiterated each day as an expectation. We also have celebrations that students can work towards points and earning points to be able to earn those celebrations, and as of our last celebration, over 91% of those students were able to attend. And compared to this time last year, the number of out-of-school suspensions have decreased as well.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Any other board members have any comments, questions, concerns? Not hearing any, then is there a motion to approve the C.F. Pope Elementary Improvement Plan?
I make a motion to approve the C.F. Pope Elementary School Improvement Plan.
Ms. Burns has made the motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Cordero, second.
Mr. Cordero, second the motion. At this time, we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yeah.
Mr. Springer?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Sawyer, if you'll introduce our next speaker, presenter.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Miss Avery Ellington from Alpus Corner Elementary.
afternoon. Avery Ellington, principal at Malpas Corner Elementary School. If I know how to work this. Our school vision is through communal collaboration. The Malpas Corner family will provide innovative learning experiences that promote a sense of productivity in a safe and supportive environment. Our mission is to provide a high-quality, equitable education for all students in an inclusive environment that builds the foundation of lifelong achievement. Our demographics currently today we have 508 children enrolled. Demographics by ethnicity, Native American is 0.6%, African American or Black is 26.7%, Pacific Islander 0.2%, White is 36.9%, Hispanic and Latino are 29.7%, and multiracial is 6%. Our data from last year. We exceeded growth in 4th grade math. We did not meet in 5th grade math. Reading, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, we met expected growth, and EOG science we met. Snapshot from our subgroups from 2022 and then last year. We did exceed this past year. We only met growth. We did have a decline in our Black students showing growth and also our students with disabilities. So there's that. Our academic goal is to increase grade level proficiency by 7% and our growth score from 78 to 85%, which we'll be exceeding. Growth on our 3-5 end of grade assessments as evidenced by our EVOS data. The school indicator that we chose to use are the principal models and communicates the expectation of improved student learning through commitment, disciplined, and careful implementation of effective practices. The next school indicator is all teachers use assessment data and match instruction and supports to individual student needs. Culture and climate goal is to create and maintain a culture that is a safe space that fosters learning, trust, and respect for all stakeholders, as evidenced by our teacher working conditions survey. Those indicators are the environment of the school, physical, social, emotional, and behavioral is safe, welcoming, and conducive to learning. The second indicator is that school culture promotes and supports the physical, social, emotional, and behavioral health of all school personnel. Our metrics, we will be using our teacher working conditions survey and of course our end of grade data, our M-class data, and our check-in data. Our current state for our teacher working conditions survey was 64.8% that teachers feel the atmosphere of mutual respect, and that is something that was an area that we definitely would like to grow in, hence the culture goal. And then, of course, our exceeding growth and it's by 7% so that we can get to a 55, which is a C. Strive for 55, which is one of our mottos this year. We are also soaring with intention and integrity with the addition of our new math and reading curricula. This is super important that we are learning and growing and reading and teaching the curriculum as is. All grade level EOGs increased in proficiency except for 5th grade math, reading, and science. We do have weekly math and ELA PLC meetings. They are facilitated by the instructional team. So that includes admin and our instructional coaches and our, interventionist and our instructional coach and our early literacy specialist. We are utilizing data and support staff to facilitate targeted small group instruction. So we have sat down, taken the kids what they need according to their data, broken them into groups, whether it's an intervention group or an enrichment group, and we have an adult, and we are progress monitoring that weekly. We do have communities and schools support personnel this year. They are helping us tremendously with attendance and our early checkouts and tardies. And then we do have the implementation of core curriculum, the foundations, Hegarty, Wit and Wisdom, and Eureka Squared. Do you have any questions for me?
Mr. Springer, any other board members at this time? Ms. Cordero, do you have any questions, concerns, comments?
I don't have anything, Mr. Cook.
This is Mr. Cordero. Just a quick, if you could just elaborate for us on your parental engagement strategies, that would be most helpful.
On our engagement strategies, well, is that? Parental engagement strategies. So we have been inviting parents in as a Title I school. We have to have 4 Title I nights. We had parents come in at open house. We also did a Thanksgiving lunch this past Friday, which brought in a lot of parental, like a lot of family. I mean, those are. We will have Eagle come in and act as an eagle for the day, and the parents will have access to what their child does each and every day. That's a part of one of our Title I nights. We will have a STEAM night. We also will have a K-2 Christmas performance that is coming up in a couple of weeks. 3-5 will have an end of year. So our site-based teams, we have our school improvement team where anyone can come. Parent advisory council, same thing.
So the school improvement team, you said anybody can come. Are those meetings noticed to all parents? And how do you notice parents?
Yes, sir. We send out, they are on our website, they are on our Facebook page. The meeting dates are all there.
And then are minutes kept at these meetings? So if for parents that, for whatever reason, maybe it's work or something else, they're not able to attend, if they wanted to, understand what happened at the meeting, how would they do that?
We could share with them our agenda and our minutes that we take. And then they're also a part of our NC STAR plan that is also accessible by our website.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Ms. Long,
Mr. Burns, Mr. Hall, any other comments, questions?
Hi, this is Mrs. Burns. And you were saying that the culture within the school.
Yes, ma'am.
Any details on what you're going to do to try to bring up that survey?
So what we're doing this year, we have been celebrating staff's birthdays, just anything that we can do to create a culture of celebrating and respect. Our teams, lining up our teacher staff teams and sharing out information at each of our staff meetings, creating that communication and making sure that that is open communication. Everybody has access to our agendas and minutes. Staff newsletter every week. We have also, so this year, as part of our SOAR team, we have implemented teachers also earning staff Eagle Bucks so that they can turn those in for different things.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Ellington, I just want to tell you, great job on doing your Thanksgiving lunch. But also, I wanted to ask, what's your attendance ratio, or your attendance look like for your school?
92% right now, sir. It was about 92% at this time last year, too. However, like Mr. Simmons was saying, our school, we have been struck with a lot of sickness, staff and student. So I'm hoping that we're going to see an increase in that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other board members have any comments, questions? Not hearing any, is there a motion to approve the Malpas Corner Elementary School Improvement Plan?
I make a motion to approve the, Malcolm Corner Elementary School improvement plan.
Mr. Springer has made the motion. Is there a
Mr.
second?
Guerrero, second.
Mr. Cudera, second. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Springer.
Mr. Springer votes yes.
Mr. Cudera.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Owens, thank you. Dr. Owens, we'll turn it back over to you. Dr. Sawyer.
All right. Next up, we have Miss Kimberly McNeil from Pender School.
Good afternoon, Cabinet, board members. Thank you for having me today. I'm Kimberly McNeil, principal of Pender. Okay, there we go. Had to figure out the remote. So our school vision for Pender, we will establish rigorous expectations for the school community to include students, educators, and families. Our focus will be to increase overall proficiency, provide a supportive climate, and establish a culture of excellence. Our mission as a school, Pender staff will provide a safe and rigorous learning environment where students are engaged, supported, and encouraged to take ownership of their educational outcomes. Students will listen, read, and write daily across content areas. Apologize. This one. There we go. All right, so our demographics, we're at about 500 students, 16% being African American. We have 2 American Indian Native. We have about 1% Asian, 52% Caucasian, 25% Hispanic, and 6% multiracial. So our focus this year has been laser focus on proficiency. We are really good at growing children. If you look at the table, our achievement versus our growth, there's a big difference in our growth and our achievement. So we celebrate the growth that we have with our students. And we'll see more of that in just a bit. But this year we are laser focused on getting achievement up to where it needs to be. Overall, we're at 42.5% achievement. Our growth is 80.2, and performance is at a 50, which gives us a school grade of D. So our entire focus this year and goals that we set as a staff was to get that grade up to a 55 and get our school to a letter C at a minimum. So in terms of reading, 3 through 8, we're at 36.8 in achievement and 76.2 in growth. Math, 3 through 8, we're at 47.4 in achievement, and for growth, it's 86.8. So again, our growth is really good. We want to be focused on that proficiency. So here, it was really helpful for me to look at just a comparison from last year, 21-22, which is the top table. There were 3 of our subgroups that we did not meet growth in. And for this past school year, we met or exceeded growth in every subgroup, which is very difficult to do. So we're really proud, and we celebrate that as a staff, with keeping in mind that proficiency is where we are headed this year. That is communicated over and over again. Pender will deliver rigorous targeted instruction to all students using reteaching. If 80% of our students don't have mastery, then we reteach. And we are using leveled small group instruction as measured by our overall school performance proficiency with an 11% increase in math, 12% increase in ELA, and 15% improvement in science. Using tiered instruction. We have a lot of cross-grade level activity going on that is planned out precisely in PLCs. So we actually have different grade levels who are collaborating in real time and switching their children according to what their needs are in core instruction and trying to fill in gaps. Pender staff will collect 2 student data points each year. This is our culture and climate goal. We want to collect student data points each year in order to support a safe and inclusive learning environment as measured by the Basic Perception Survey. And we want to increase from a 74.9 rating of students feeling safe at school to a 79.9, and to increase our 91.6 attendance rate to 95% attendance rate for the 23-24 school year. Our attendance rate had actually gone up, but much like my colleagues, we've had a lot of flu, even COVID going through our building. So we were so excited about our attendance rate going up. And I really do believe it has a lot to do with our curriculum this year and the experiences that children are having in the classrooms that they know they can't miss and they don't want to miss school. So we're really excited about our attendance rate and are confident that it will improve. For our health and safety goal, Pender staff will build relationships with community members in order to decrease office referrals from 70 incidents by 10% to 63 incidents. Our attendance rate of 92.6 will improve to a 95% through direct communications with parents. Just talking about the importance of attendance. So our goal, again, in health and safety, we are going to employ effective classroom management and reinforce classroom rules. We're really being purposeful about making sure those rules are explicitly communicated by each teacher and posted so that children know what is expected of them. We are directly teaching the PBIS matrix expectations within the first 2 weeks of next school year to ensure that we are all operating from the same point. The matrix will be prominently displayed throughout the building, and our goal is for discipline referrals for the next school year to reduce by 12%. We're going to measure that using Educator's Handbook, office referrals, teacher reports, Hornet of the Week, and then student buy-in for school-wide incentives. We have some teachers who are very creative in the way they get children to earn and therefore spend their Hornet bucks. So we're continuing to look for ways to make that an appealing incentive for students. We've had some really good pep rallies and things like that students don't want to miss. So we're always trying to stay a little bit ahead of them and keep that something that they want to participate in. So our current status, last year our office referrals were at 60 and our office referrals currently are at 70. Climate and culture goal, Pender staff will collect 2 student data points each year in order to support a safe and inclusive environment using the Basic Perception Survey. Again, going from a 74.9, feeling safe and good at school, to 79.9, and then again to increase our attendance rate. Metrics for that would be office referrals, attendance rate. Last year's attendance rate was 92.6. And we're currently at a 91.6, and the fall 2024 goal is 95%. academic goal, Penderly teachers will deliver standards-based, rigorous, differentiated instruction measured by students meeting or exceeding growth from a growth score of 75 to 85 and a 6% increase in overall proficiency in our student performance data. And we'll be measuring that using M-Class, progress monitoring, check-ins already, and of course EOG, AB honor roll, and our list of students who are not being successful so that we know where to intervene. Currently, our state proficiency rate is 42.5 overall. Overall math is 55%, overall reading 45.7%, and overall science 54.4%, with our overall growth score at 75.1. So, highlights and next steps. We are going to continue getting better at our weekly PLC schedule. It's very structured and consistent. Our teachers know that PLC will happen. We have a lot of good conversation in our PLCs, and we're growing together. Again, growth was made, met, or exceeded in all subgroups in the 22-23 school year. Our weekly core PLC meetings are focused on differentiation of instruction, data analysis, strategizing according to data, and reflection. Again, we're using a cross-grade and off-grade intervention where necessary. We're utilizing data, our ML staff, and our EC instructional coaches push in, and our ML staff has been attending our PLCs with us for some time, and we've really seen that in the data. So we're going to continue doing that in terms of facilitating targeted small group instruction, and it's going to inform how we push in and remediate. We're going to continue to track and highlight attendance. We are posting a student-friendly scoreboard. We already have that up in the school. We are tracking not only attendance, we are also tracking behavior. It is a real eye-opener to see those behaviors listed in graph form in the cafeteria. We recently had parents in the building for our Thanksgiving meal and activity, and parents actually got to participate in a lesson in the classroom with teachers teaching them, which was wonderful to see. But while the parents were in the building in the cafeteria, we could see a few going over to the wall and really looking at our behavior by grade level. Just seeing it in that format was good. So our school improvement team, this is one of the bigger strategies that I'm really excited about. I'm going to do a school improvement team reset because I don't believe that our school improvement team has really been living up to its true purpose. So I'm going to be doing a reset actually after we get back from Thanksgiving break and restructuring to increase staff involvement and buy-in and urgency. We need urgency. And the best way I know to do that is to get our committees that are an outflow. Everything needs to come back up to the school improvement plan and be related to our school improvement plan. So the staff were told about a month ago that this is what we would be doing. And so I think the more those ideas and the feeders go out among staff, I think the better the buy-in and increasing that urgency that we need at this point is going to happen. Any questions for me?
Board members, is there any comments, questions, concerns?
Mr. McNeil, I got some questions.
Yes, sir.
If I could, Mr. Chair. So you went up from 60 to 70 already this year, and we're just passing the first quarter. Do you think it's safe to say maybe we could stricken the discipline levels, or what's going to be done to improve that going forward?
That's why we're going to go back with the AP, Miss Boney. She's going to be working directly with the PBIS team. And again, we're trying to make those incentives bigger and better to get kids invested. And when we do have discipline, our goal is always to make sure children understand the mistake or whatever that occurred, but to learn from it, and then we start over. So I think just our basic approach to discipline is going to make a difference in how we see it prevail or not prevail. I do think when you have a change of administration, sometimes you do see a spike in discipline, but I do expect that to come down.
Was you at the school last year, Ms. McNeil?
Yes, sir. I started in October of last year as AP.
Okay. So when was this plan, this improvement plan you wrote, when did you write this?
This November, this month. It's been updated this month.
Okay, so what's the vast improvements that you've done from last year to this year? What are the differences that you're gonna try to implement to better the school going forward that's not in it this year?
What are the main strategies for this past school year? Is that your question?
Yeah, what you done last year in comparison to what you're doing this year, what are the differences?
I would say, that's a great question, and I would say it's really just the laser focus on literacy for one. We've always been stronger in math historically, and literacy has been a hard area for us. So I think just the focus on literacy is something that probably was there but not as strong last year. And I also think just a lot of just direct discussion and conversation as a staff and individually with teachers about where we are as a school, and what we need to do to meet proficiency, and not just growth. Does that answer your question, sir?
Vaguely, yes, ma'am.
Is there any other comments, questions, board members?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, Ms. McNeil, you said this got populated in November. How quick do you see the school improvement reset taking? How long do you think it'll take to get this back up and running?
The SIT team? It's already operating. It has been operating. I just want it to operate more optimally and be centered on true school improvement that relates to this plan. And everything that we do through our committees coming back up to the school improvement team.
A couple more questions. How many kids do you have going to your school currently?
How many students do we have? About 500.
And only 91% of them are coming to your school. Is that what the first slide showed?
I can't
Attendance rate right now, 91%,
Yes, sir.
91.6.
Yes, sir.
Okay, some of these other schools are at a higher rate, and you're a year-round school. Can you tell us what the difference is, other than you going year-round and having potentially more days off or more days in?
In terms of the past attendance rate, we did have quite a few students who were chronically late. I think that added to it a lot. But I am optimistic that our attendance rate is coming up. I don't really know of any reason our year-round calendar would be an issue. But I do see our attendance coming up.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, board members, are there any other questions, comments, concerns?
This is Beth Burns. I just wanted to say, I did notice your numbers and they looked great. Congratulations on the
Thank you.
increase.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, can we have a motion? Can I have a motion on the floor then to accept Pender Lee Elementary School's improvement plan?
This is Don Hall. I'll make that motion and keep things clear on the phone. Can everybody identify themselves when they start talking, please? Thank you.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Hall. Is there a second?
This is Beth Burns. I'll second that.
Ms. Burns, a second. At this time, we have roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Springer?
Mr. Springer votes yes.
Ms. Cordero?
Mr. Cordero, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sawyer, at this time, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Now we have Mr. Nick Piquette from Pender High.
Hello, greeting chair, board, superintendent, cabinet, esteemed colleagues, Pender Patriot community. I am Principal Nick Paquette, proud principal, here to discuss our school improvement plan, cover school year 23-24, and it's an honor to do so. School vision of Pender High School is that all stakeholders, far beyond just our students, but each of us who represent the brand of Pender High School will provide an inclusive and engaging environment for students to become active participants in life after high school. Our mission is to provide our students with relevant, differentiated instruction and opportunities for service learning. We currently serve 674 students, broken across demographics, primarily white, followed by our Black and African American subgroup, and Hispanic being about 40, 30, 20% of our student population, respectively. Our data snapshot is mighty red from a year ago, and each category, save for our 14 students who had completed Math 1 as a part of their middle school matriculation, each data point, biology, English 2, Math 1, and Math 3, do not meet expected growth. And that subgroup of 14 students in EOC Math 3 do, in fact, meet expected growth, so the highlight of our EVA snapshot. Overall, we did not meet with an EVA score of negative 7.75, a move in the wrong direction of a year previous. The information's been provided in the presentation that shows disparity among some subgroups in any given particular area of interest. In order to move in a new direction, in a more positive direction, more indicative of the work, the effort, the energy, and the love folks have for Pender High School, we have established an academic goal that we will meet or exceed the expected educator value-added assessment system growth for this overall school year, and we'll see a 6% increase in overall proficiency in student performance data. We'll be monitoring that from the principal level, communicating expectations, being consistent and clear with those in the spirit of School Indicator A1.01, as well as we will continue our quest to use research-based practice and use assessment data to match our response when students' needs aren't being met. Culture and climate goal. We'll continue to partner with students, families, and the community to cultivate a safe and supportive, inclusive, and responsive environment, and really going after attendance goal here that will meet or exceed 95% daily attendance. We are working under indicator 405, all meaning all teachers, staff, faculty, any wage earner on behalf of Pender High School to teach and reinforce positive social skills, self-respect, relationships, relational equity, and responsibility for the consequences of decisions and actions in a consistent manner, as as well as E105, the ongoing conversation. Developing trust between the school personnel and parents, guardians is candid, it's supportive, it flows in both directions, and we've attempted to honor that as consistently and clearly this school year as absolutely possible. Finally, in terms of our goals, a health and safety goal to establish a clear climate of purpose and order, that no less than 85% of respondents will respond favorably when prompted. Overall, my school is a good place to work and learn, a key retention indicator in the North Carolina Teacher Working Conditions Survey. So again, we will each teach and reinforce those positive skills necessary to function within a school environment and to leave better than we come. And continue that ongoing conversation between our school, the district, and our community about the nature of the value of free, sound, and public education. So we look towards the metric associated with those goals and current baseline. Again, our academic goal, I'll remind you, is to, quite frankly, meet, most importantly, exceed growth in all, there's an error there, and that's my apology and my mistake, in all ESC areas, increasing proficiency by no less than 6%. We're utilizing the support of our instructional coaches within our district, as well as common planning protocols instituted this year to look at North Carolina check-in data and provide standards-based correction of instruction where necessary. Course tracking and looking at proficiency scores historically, and educating more than anything right now about the metric that is EVOS growth. What does it mean to create a formula based off an average student in an average year and with an average teacher? And what are those various mechanisms pulling on each of those that we can use to our advantage to better demonstrate the brilliance, the innovation, and just the amazing potential that exists within the student body of Pender High School. Currently, we've mentioned the negative 7.75 growth status. Proficiency scores are each below 50% of our student body, tested in those areas, being able to demonstrate competency at a proficient level or better. Our attendance goal, again, is 95% minimum. We're looking at daily attendance, celebrating daily attendance as one of the actions, but that's the metric. Our daily attendance of last school year for our students was 88.07%. And then ultimately, the look at North Carolina Teacher Working Conditions Survey 10.6, my school is a good place to work and learn. We're looking at student climate survey, just anecdotal feedback should be added there, just the feel of a building, information shared by staff, by parents, North Carolina Conditions Working Survey. Our team here has done a great job, our cabinet, of providing all available information that was to better inform what our next baby action step should be. That baseline is 64.4% of the last time staff were polled, that my school is a good place to work and learn. So in one slide, what are we doing? We're centering it all around that great things happen when you show up. That's the motto, repeated day in, day out, that we believe in, that we're beginning to believe in again, that you actually matter, yes, you, and we're better when you're here. We are strategizing within the various opportunities given and the requests made of the schoolhouse to utilize the diversity that exists at Pender High School as an asset to better communicate and connect folks with our schoolhouse on any given demographic. We continue to see the fruits of our JROTC program not only being nationally recognized, but moving into a new phase, having just hosted our first ever JROTC Raider meet, 5 different schools and 8 teams competing. Really a beautiful sight to see, in large part, not just because of the Pender Patriots' domination of said events, but really the spirit of the event to expose other programs that are more fledgling in the process to what excellence looks like. Teachers meeting weekly with support staff, our multilingual support, as well as our EC support staff to better align the support we're providing and to increase the rigor of all support, ensuring that while some students have gap, it's not that they can't, it's just that they haven't demonstrated it yet. We're utilizing leaders to facilitate our staff data meetings, so distributing leadership to a new cohort of leaders embedded in positions, some in the classroom and our counselors, to create a cross-team, departmental team to facilitate data meetings so that some of the trends of data that we can see aren't just always coming from me or from administration or from even you, the board, that this is real-time data applicable and within this room of a staff meeting, no other people could do more with that data than the people who are digging into it. So very proud of that work. Community and schools has been a very positive support for us, specific to attendance and rewarding responsible attendance and having opportunities to make that important in our daily routines. Daily announcements are grounded in goals and positive reinforcement, and just making sure our school is always focused on collaboration, on alignment, and celebration, and that's happening on a daily basis. Creation and launch of the Sources of Strength initiative to increase peer positivity and connectedness. Very excited about that work and have been chosen as a pilot program throughout the state to work with University of North Carolina to just really strengthen the power of conversations we have, particularly within the adolescent group, as it relates to suicide prevention, awareness, and most importantly, peer positivity and connectedness. And then ultimately, our staff meetings, just ensuring that our time is well used, that we are focused on those goals, that we have routines in place to monitor those goals, to adjust where needed, are some of the highlights, I guess, wrap up in next steps occurring. With that, I'm, I guess, happy to report in terms of attendance, I do believe 95% is responsible attendance goal. We're seeing we are currently in this school year a 93% daily attendance rate, a little below that, 92.7, but I'm claiming 93 right now, up from 88 over last year. We've also seen across the board really a goal that in any metric that would improve by 5% or more. Any metric that any reasonable person would see fit would decrease by at least 5% or more. And one of the areas we put a lot of time, effort, and energy into is, again, just the climate of purpose and order within the schoolhouse and expected behaviors, and how do we create an environment that's conducive to learning. And at this same number of days, we are in the 58th school day as of today. And we have reduced the number of referrals in half, from 513 to right around 251. Still very significant, still a full-time job. Each of those situations getting the time, attention, and due process it requires, but is a positive indicator that the work that's being done to utilize your policy and your expectation is showing signs of strength among other. We will take questions at this time because I could ramble on about other signs of success, and maybe those will be your questions, but I'll pause there. Thankful for the time. Unfortunate, the topic of why we're here today, and we won't be back in a year's time.
Thank you for your presentation. Board members, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, not hearing any, is there a motion to accept Pender High School's improvement plan that was just presented?
Mr. Burkett, I applaud for what you're doing, and for that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Pender High School improvement plan.
Thank you.
Mr. Springer has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hall is second the motion. At this time, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Springer?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, the motion is passed.
Thank you.
Dr.
right.
Sawyer,
Oh, sorry.
I was just calling you at this time for any other comments or what you have.
We have one more. We have Miss Paige Garza from West Pender Middle School.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members, cabinet members, colleagues. I'm Paige Garza, principal of West Pender Middle School. And I'm doing the clicking, right? All right, here we go. All right, this school year, we worked together over the summer to develop and revise our mission and vision. The vision of West Pender Middle School will set the standard for middle grades educational excellence by demonstrating and modeling warrior power principles, which are perseverance, openness, wellness, empathy, and responsibility. We're going to do this by our school's mission. At West Pender Middle School, we believe in every student's potential to achieve greatness, and we will ensure that our school is a place dedicated to continual learning that builds opportunities for future community success for all stakeholders through the fostering of equity, inclusivity, and engaging students in transformative learning experiences. Our current enrollment is 193 students for today, approximately 20 more students than this time last school year. We have a pretty even number of males to females and a representative demographic. So we have about 1/3 of our students are African American, 1/3 Caucasian, and 1/3 Hispanic and mixed race. And this balanced representation across various religious or racial backgrounds fosters a diverse, inclusive environment that we are very much proud of. In order to frame our school improvement plan and our goals for this school year, we looked at many sets of data, including our EVOS trends. As you can see here, in our 6th grade math, we did not meet growth. In addition to our 6th grade reading, in all other areas in 7th and 8th grade reading, math, and science, we met or exceeded growth. As a school, we met growth across the board in reading, math, and science, and all of our subgroups, including students with disabilities, English language learners, economically disadvantaged students, and all demographic groups. And as you can see here, our Hispanic students exceeded growth this past school year. And this is a big improvement from the prior school year. So as we continue our journey to set the standard for middle grades excellence, we have revised our goals. So our first goal, West Pender Middle School will intentionally aim to increase student proficiency by 20% using school performance data to drive decisions and create standards-aligned lessons in order to move all students to proficiency. This is an academic and a cultural goal because there are both academic and cultural action steps associated with this goal. This probably seems like a very big goal, but in fact, this is a 3-year goal. We started this goal last school year. And so our goal within those 3 years is that with a 20% increase, that would take us to a school performance grade of a C. So in order to do this, our instructional teams are developing and using standards-aligned units of instruction for each subject and grade level. And we are regularly looking at the school performance data and aggregated classroom observation data that uses data to make decisions about school improvement and professional development needs, which is a culture building piece that is critical, that we are now culturally as a school using data to make decisions. Goal 2 is an academic, safety, and culture goal because it includes action steps specifically in all 3 of these domains. We learned in our Warrior Summer Retreat that we needed to strengthen our core. And we define our core as everything that we all do for all students in the areas of academics, behavior, attendance, and life skills, so that we're building capacity for strong emotional intelligence. We have honed in on the following indicators to strengthen our core. So again, developing and implementing consistent, intentional, and ongoing plans to support student transition from grade to grade. Looking at regular school performance data to make decisions about school improvement and professional development. Establishing procedures and protocols for recruiting, evaluating, rewarding, and replacing staff. Instructional teams developing standards-aligned units of instruction for each subject and grade level. And a leadership team consisting of the principal, teachers who lead the instructional teams, and other professional staff meets regularly, at least twice a month, to review implementation of effective practices. We are measuring our progress of these two goals in many ways. Specifically with Goal 1, we're targeting our proficiency scores. As I mentioned earlier, this is a 3-year goal, so our baseline for proficiency was 31%. Our proficiency goal last year was 37.66%, and we exceeded that with a 38.2%. This year, we want to see our proficiency increase to at least 44.33%. We're going to measure our core in many ways. When core is everything, there are many ways to measure that. But our goal is going to be to make sure that we are measuring all of our core action steps that we've outlined at 80% or higher that are within our school improvement plan. And you can see the areas in blue here where we've already made success in the execution of our school improvement plan. So for example, last year in looking at a referral data, our cost per incident, meaning the amount of instructional time lost due to referrals, was about 1.119 days. To date, that is down to 0.24 days, so we're very proud of that. In addition, we have over 80% of our staff engaged in and utilizing research-based and standards-aligned syllabi, pacing guides, standards-aligned lesson plans. We're also very proud of our new BT program, which is a part of our core action steps where we have 100% attendance of all of our beginning teachers. And 3 current nurture cohorts, again, a part of our core practices and increasing advanced opportunities for our students that are displaying readiness. And from a cultural standpoint, our warrior power, which you will see evident in our advisory classes that are taught daily, our warrior pledge that is said at the end of every day, and our concrete advisory lessons. To highlight and just wrap up where we have come from and what we're currently doing, the one thing I want to make sure to bring note of is West Pender Middle School met our first year proficiency goal. We're very proud of that. We went from a negative 3.91 growth score to a 1.32. And from a school performance grade of F to a D. Our motto this school year is to set the standard. And we are continuing to build basic structures and systems that support growth long-term, really specifically with a targeted goal of sustaining the things that we're doing so that no matter what happens in the future, that we have critical structures in place like strong processes with school improvement team and committees that can continue the important work that we're currently doing. Our teachers are engaging in monthly learning walks. All of our teachers are singletons. They are the only ones that teach what they teach at our school. So we make sure that we get in each other's spaces all the time. So our teachers engage in monthly learning walks in each other's spaces to learn and grow instructionally and managerially and to reflect on their own practices with each other. We have a robust BT program with support from our Pender County Schools BT coach, our assistant principal, and our MTSS coach, and we're partnered with UNCW in that effort. And our SIT team, I cannot speak any more highly of them, truly modeling democratic leadership and delegation. They have done a fabulous job at establishing a process for problem solving so that our goals are truly shared across the entire school, including with our community members that regularly attend our school improvement team meetings. And we also have ongoing support from our DPI leadership coach on utilizing IndyStar and helping us just make sure that we are creating a school improvement plan that truly is going to serve the next steps for West Pender. Any questions? Thank you.
Board members, are there any comments, questions, concerns at this time? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to approve West Pender Middle School Improvement Plan?
Mr. Rivera makes the motion.
Mr. Kaderas made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second Beth Burns.
Ms. Burns is second. At this time, we do a roll call. Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Springer? At this time, the motion carries. Dr. Sawyer, do you have any other comments?
I do not. I just want to thank everybody for their time, and it's been a long time coming for these principals and these SIT teams, and they've spent a lot of time throughout the course of the summer into the fall, making sure that they've got all of their data in place and they've got everything ready to go. So, thank you.
Mr. Smith, I'll add to that. This is Brad. Just want to say, adding to that, also the work, not just of our administrators that are here with us today, but the teachers and most importantly, the students, making the commitments to improvement and the work that goes along with that. So I do want to reiterate, thank you all for your time and thank you for your support to our schools.
Thank you, Dr. Breedlove. Is there any other item on the agenda at this time?
Yes. Item,
Mr.
yeah, class size waivers, and then RFP for flexible benefits. Thank you.
All right, if we'll ask the Assistant Superintendent Taylor, if you will, Mr. Taylor, give that first information presentation, please.
Yes, sir. Kevin Taylor, Assistant Superintendent. Pursuant to NCGS 115C-301J, local PSUs must enter into an affidavit signed by the superintendent to go over any classes that exceed the class size limits. Just to refresh everyone, this is a K-3 class size requirement. For kindergarten, 1 teacher per 21 students. For first grade, 1 teacher per 19. Second grade, 1 teacher per 20 students. And third grade is the same, 1 teacher per 20 students. Just as we continue to see an increase in our enrollments throughout the school year, we are currently sitting with the ones inside the packet. We do feel like that we can probably remove some of these. So it would be the recommendation of the staff to the board to approve these and to give Dr. Breedlove the autonomy to decrease in number whenever applicable and possible. So we may end up with less than what we have when it's all said and done.
Okay, board members, are there any comments, questions before we have a motion to approve the waiver?
Yeah, this is Board Member Springer. Kevin, will we continue to need these after the new school built?
It depends on how much we continue to grow. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to answer your question with another question, Mr. Springer, but yeah, I mean, I draw your attention to, I mean, some of these are on the other side, the west side of the county. So we're not experiencing the amount of growth on the west side that we do on the east side. There are always bubbles of populations of students that come through. I think that's what we're experiencing in places like Malthus Corner, for example.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way, Mr. Taylor. I was just asking for future reference. I don't have anything further.
Yeah, I will say our goal every year is to not have any of these. We just, for the state only gives us a certain amount of O1 positions. We do our best to supplement that with other funds. So we do our best to not have any. Hopefully we won't have very many this year after we get done going through these with the principals. These have to be submitted by the end of November, which is why it's brought before you today.
Is there any other questions, board members, before we have a motion to approve the waiver form?
Is Mr. McPherson still on the call?
Yes, I am, Mr. Springer.
I was looking on the contract.
What was the question, sir?
I was looking on the construction contract for the amendments.
I'm still working on it, but that's not a topic we can discuss on this call because it was not noticed to the public.
Well, it had to do with
I can follow up with you with a phone call.
Yeah, okay. I don't have anything from him.
Okay, board members, if there's no other comments, questions, is there
Mr. Chair, Mr. Cordero has just one question for Mr. Taylor.
No problem.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to, regarding the waivers, can you tell us whether or not this is mainly a capacity issue for the school, the physical building itself, or is this a teacher hiring issue?
It could be a combination of both. A lot of times it is, so it's important to understand too, for those in the community listening or maybe listening, positions are allotted to us as a whole PSU unit. And then we put those positions in places where we think they're going to most benefit. So one or two kids can throw us over the limit, which is what you're seeing on these things. So it could be a staffing issue. Typically, it won't be, because we would have a long-term sub in that classroom as much as we possibly could. So the class size would still be remedied. So it's most of the time it is just the fact that there's an extra kid or two that we didn't account for that moved in.
That's helpful. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sheriff, there's no more comments. I'll go ahead and make the motion. Pending any
Have a
other
motion.
comments.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Cordero to approve the waiver. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Springer. Roll call vote. Mr. Springer?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Taylor?
Ms. Allen's coming up.
Good afternoon, Board. This is Lisa Allen, Chief Finance Officer, and I am bringing forward to you today to recommend the selection of Mark III as our new flexible benefit company. There was a matrix included in the documentation. Any questions or concerns?
Board members, you've had the opportunity to look at this. Is there any comments, questions, concerns that you have? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to accept staff's recommendation?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion by Ms. Burns. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Cordero.
Second by Mr. Cordero. This time we'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Recuse.
Mr. Springer?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, is there any other action items that we have at this time?
No, sir, that's it.
Okay. Is there any other comments, Dr. Breedlove, before we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
No, sir. Just once again, thank you all very much.
Thank you. And also a reminder of tomorrow, we have another meeting. Dr. Breedlove, will you remind the public what time that is?
Yes, sir. That meeting is at 9:30 in the a.m.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Let's do adjourn the meeting.
Mr. Springer has made the motion to adjourn. Mr. Cordero seconded the motion. At this time, roll call vote. Mr. Springer?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Cordero?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
At this time, I